Hi, I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. So many politicians are bought by special interests and major corporations instead of the citizens who elected them. I would not be bought. I would finance my own campaign in good faith to the voters of Illinois and promise to serve with integrity at all times. I'm asking for your support as I run for U.S. Senator in 2020.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
And welcome to a Greater You show here on IntellectualRadio.com, the iHeart Station, and I'm your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gant, here again for another great show to help you become better and also help you do better as a person. Again, we are here on IntellectualRadio.com. We are iHeart Station. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can find us. Have shows here Sunday through Saturday, throughout the day, in the evening. So you can definitely find some shows. What I'd like you to do is hit the subscribe button there below, and then also hit the bell so you can be notified when there are some shows taking place, and you'll be notified with some great guests, great hosts throughout the week. So please tune in and please hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified of some great things happening here. So again, we're in the Greater You show. This is a self-help show, a coaching class, so to speak, coaching session, and a teaching class on how to be better. So before we get started in that part, I want to promote someone. If you'd like to get promoted on the show, a future show, you can get with me at fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com, and then we can talk about it and see if my show fit what you do, and see if what you do fit what my show does. So if you're about helping people with whatever your business may happen to be, I would definitely like to at least speak to you about it, and we see what we can work out. So I'm promoting Mr. Emmett Farmer. And are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and independent insurance broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or eFarmer, the numeric number 2, so eFarmer2 at ameritech.net. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is licensed in Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in other states as well. If you are 65 and older, or if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options. And you may know someone like a grandmother or aunt or granddad or uncle or someone that's approaching that age. You can definitely give them a call so you can help your family members or friends that may be about that age, so they can know more about Medicare and how it can help them. For more information, contact Ms. Emmett Farmer at 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425, or eFarmer, the numeric number 2, so eFarmer, EFARMER 2 at ameritech.net. You will also get a free consultation by mentioning that you have heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer and his business here on a Greater Youth Show, here on IntellectualRadio.com, hosted by Dr. Anthony L. Gant. So we want to make sure, give him a call or give him an email. Things change all the time with certain programs, so you might want to be kept abreast of what's going on with that program to help you. So we are in part 3 of how to become a better person. And we have went over quite a bit of information. We're talking about self-help skills. So you may be new to me. You may be new to IntellectualRadio.com. And you may be new to the show, the Greater Youth Show. So I always do a recap to catch you up. You may not be new to us, but you might not have made the next session. Keep in mind, all of our shows here at Intellectual Radio are recorded. So you can always go back as often as you want and listen to them whenever you want. For instance, my shows, you can go to IntellectualRadio.com, and then you can just put in the search box on there. You can put a Greater You Show, and then the shows will come up, and you can look at all my past shows as well as the one that you might be tuning in today. And then the other show I have called Great Business Skills, you can type that in, and you can find that as well. If you know a certain host, you can type the name in, then you can find their shows too. So to do the recap, is in part 1, We talked about how you had to become making a better person, and it had to be something personal for you. If it wasn't personal, or if it isn't personal, then chances are you're not going to probably do what it takes to become a better person consistently or continuously. And we talked about how working on yourself is the cornerstone to help you become a better self. If you don't work on, you can't work on yourself without, or well, you can't work on your self esteem without yourself. You can't work on your self discipline without yourself. You can't work on your self image without yourself. You can't work on your self determination without yourself. You can't work on your self confidence without yourself. Yourself is important. And once you understand that yourself is important, then you need to make the adjustments to realize I need to work on myself. And then that'll help me flourish in other areas of my life as a person. We also talked about that when we say yourself, that's really two words, yourself. Your mean possession of, like that's your car, that's your house, that's your shoe, that's your hat, right? It's yours. You possess that, or it belongs to you. And then self is person. So you possess a person. And this is why this is so important that you need to make it personal, because you can't leave your person one place and then take you somewhere else. Everywhere you go, you got to take your person with you. So that's why it's imperative that you work on yourself. We also talked about how you had to realize that you're bigger than things and titles. You may have a title, but that title is not bigger than you. You may have a thing, but that thing is not bigger than you. You may know a whole lot of people, but that knowing those people isn't bigger and more important than you. And how that you matter, and you matter. Excuse me, you matter because you take up space, and you've been taking up space since you've been here. And we never had another you before you got here. We never had another you since you've been here, and we will never have another you when you leave from here. So you're the only you we have, and we're not getting another you. So but we can't do you for you. You have to be responsible for making you a better person, and we'll talk more about that as we go into to tonight. Part two, we talked about part one we talked about value and things like that, but part two we talked about self development. And I talked about self development. DE means away, develop means to wrap. So to wrap away, or the word we use in English, unwrap. So you have to unwrap yourself to become a better self. If you don't unwrap yourself to become a better self, that means you're going to be wrapped up in yourself and you're going to become worse. So we talked about you have to realize that when self development is not happening, that means self destruction is taking place. So you can't live your life destroying yourself and then think that you should be invited into the lives of other people, right? Because you're destroying yourself and you can destroy other people as well. So you must develop yourself, unwrap yourself, because you are a present and you are a gift to the day. And that's a different philosophy, because we look at the day as a gift, and that's true to a large comparison. But if you're not here tomorrow, then the tomorrow is still going to be here, even if you're not here. So you being here makes you a gift to the day. That's why you need to unwrap yourself and bring out and allow some good things in you to come out to the day. So we talked about self development. We also talked about self improvement, that you can't improve on something that's not there. So the fact that you matter, that you're valuable, that you're important, that you're priceless, the proof, that's proof, because of the fact that you matter, that's proof that you can improve on those things. The word improve had the word prove in it, and the sister word the word proof, right? So that means that the proof that you can get better is the proof that you matter, that you're valuable. So you can improve on you. So I said a lot there in a recap. So that's some of the things that we went over. That you are the rehabber. You are your own self rehabber. You go to a rehab or wherever you go, those are tools to help you rehab you. So you are the fixer upper. So you got to fix you up, right? So, and that's not saying that you're a bad person, but we all need to work on ourselves to get clean and also disinfect stains. So I talked about last week as well, or last session, that you need to get you some help, right? There's nothing wrong with getting you help. There's nothing wrong with getting you a therapist, a coach, a psychiatrist, or whatever type of help you need, a counselor. Get you some help, a book, a conference, a video, whatever you need to do to get you some help to be better. You need to do that. Never be ashamed of helping yourself to become a better self. And don't allow people to put you in a box and think there's something wrong with you because you're doing what's necessary to help you become a better self. So do all you can to do that. So in today's lesson, we're gonna be in uh, lesson or chapter 7 from the book, because everything is based on the book, right? That we're doing. So we're gonna come from chapter 7 in the book, and since we're in chapter 7 in the book, and we're gonna talk a lot of tonight about self-reflection. And many times we don't realize that self-reflection is also a self-help skill, that you need to take a look at yourself to make sure you can actually become a better self. So what do I mean by that? That you have to face yourself in order to become a better self. If you don't face yourself to become a better self, then the chances are you're gonna become a worse self because you haven't faced yourself. So facing yourself will prevent you from running from yourself. Last session I shared with you that if you're running from yourself, then people gonna run from the same person you're running from, and you can't outrun you. You can't run away from you. The fact is, you cannot get away from yourself. And once you understand that everywhere you go, you got to take you everywhere you go. And you can say, I don't like me. I don't like that person. It still doesn't matter. You still got to take him or her with you. So doesn't it just make sense that you work on making that a better person because you can never take that, let that person can never leave you. Now, see, here's something that's pretty interesting. We'll spend more time trying to make our husbands different, our wives different, our sons different, daughters different, mama different, daddy different. We're going to do all this to make them different so we can deal with them. But we don't put that same energy into ourselves to make us better or different so we can deal with us. And see, and if you start running from yourself, then that's gonna put you in a situation of self-denial. You're gonna deny a lot of things that's actually true. And then self-denial is nothing but self-deception. People that live in self-denial always live in self-deception. And self-deception is nothing more than being deceived. You will deceive yourself by running from yourself, thinking you are doing that okay. You can't fool you. Now you're gonna get a lot of people on the planet gonna try to fool you during your life, right? But you can't run around there being with yourself, fooling yourself. That doesn't make any sense. That's almost ridiculous, right? So you have to do what the work that's necessary to actually be a better self for yourself. But you can't do that running from you. So when you realize that you can't run from yourself, when you realize that everywhere you go, you take you with you. In other words, and this make it be very, very simple. Most people, before they leave the house or whatever, they try to take a look at themselves in the mirror. Make sure they ain't got something on their head or something on their nose or whatever, right? They try to take a look at themselves, make sure they look okay, right? Make sure they don't have any lint on their clothes or whatever it may be. And that's a self check. See, you and I have a self check. Life has given you and I alerts that, hey, you need to check that out. You need to get that together. Hey, you need to investigate that. You need to solve that personal problem with yourself. We all have personality issues and personality problems, but if you never try to deal with yourself to make yourself better, then those personal problems will end up being a major problem and you living a better life because you won't do anything to make yourself better. So when we realize we have these alerts in life, and these alerts start early, but unfortunately, most of us don't pay attention to the alerts early because usually we're young. See, we don't get these, if you got a bad attitude, that you don't get a bad attitude at 25. You probably had a bad attitude at 21, 17, 15, 8, you get a bad attitude a long time. But our family sometimes, and this is not negative, we get used to that bad attitude. So we just know how to deal with your bad attitude when you're 10 years old, right? 12 years old, 15 years old. We kind of get used to it. So we let you slide, and we all do it. All families do this to some degree, some a little bit more than others, but we all do it, right? Well, now when you get about 20, 21, 24, 28, 30 years old, you still got these raggedy old attitudes and habits and everything, right? But the world is not as kind as mom and dad or grandma and granddad or uncle and aunt. The world not that kind. They won't deal with you because of that bad attitude. They don't have no responsibility or obligation to say, oh, you got a bad attitude and you have worked with a bad attitude. They don't have a problem firing you. So you got to get out of here, right? Because your bad attitude costing us money. But now mom and dad, they kind of dealt with you. It took you 5 hours to cut the grass, but they dealt with your attitude 4 hours till you finally cut the grass. But it don't work like that in the real world. So you have to look at the fact that you have alerts. And so since you have these alerts are like alarms, and like when you have an alert on your phone or you have an alarm on something at home. And the purpose of the alarm is to make you aware that something should be taking place. But let's use an alarm like an alarm clock or an alarm on your phone to wake you up in the morning or whatever time you have to go to work, right? So the alarm goes off. And the purpose of the alarm is to wake you up. Now, here's the problem. When you're running from yourself, what you're doing, you're not facing yourself, meaning that you are asleep on yourself. And what I mean by sleep on yourself, you are asleep on yourself from becoming a better person. See, some people say they woke, but they not woke on the fact that they need to become better. They need to become work on themselves to become better. They sleep on themselves, and then they wonder why they can't become better selves. They don't want. They wonder why they have this old raggedy life and everything because the fact they don't want to work on themselves. I have had too many alerts, too many alarms, too many sirens going off, too many warnings saying, "Get your stuff together, man, lady." See, the biggest thief we usually have in life is the person in the mirror. That's the culprit. He or she is the biggest abuser that we have in our life. That person is the biggest thief. I mean, if we can just get that person together in the mirror, man, we can do some great things in life, right? But you can't run from yourself. You can't. Every time you turn your back on yourself, when you won't face yourself, you turn your back on yourself, meaning you're facing a lie. A lie. So you're facing a lie about yourself because you refuse to face yourself. And see, the reason why we refuse to face ourselves, because here's the reality, and we want to accept this. We all have some good, we all have some bad, and we all have some ugly, right? On our person. And if we face ourselves, you know what we're gonna see? Yeah, we'll see some of the good, but we'll see some of that bad, and we'll see some of that ugly. And we don't want no parts of that, right? But here's the reality. If you refuse to face yourself and you turn your back on yourself, your ugly gonna get uglier. Your bad gonna get worse, and your good gonna get small. And then you keep living that way for 5, 10, 15 years. Now you're convinced I'm just a bad person. I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad lady. Well, it's kind of easy to say something like that when all you see is all your ugly that's being unattended to. It's easy to say something like that when you see nothing but all your bad when it's unattended to. See, we think if I don't see it, if I don't face myself, my ugly is not there. If I don't face myself, my bad is not there. Your bad is still there. Your ugly is still there, just like your good is still there. But once you face yourself, you give yourself or put yourself in a position to make your ugly less ugly. You put yourself in a position to make your bad less bad, meaning that you're putting yourself in a position to make your good more good. I know that don't sound well, but you're putting yourself in the position to make your good better, right? So this is why you want to become better so that you can put yourself in a position. So remember what I said, self-develop, right? Unwrapping yourself. Yeah, you're going to see some of that ugly. But when you face yourself, you put yourself in a position to deal with yourself. See, we don't want to deal with us. We want other people to deal with us, but we don't want to deal with us. Now, if you don't want to deal with yourself, why should your mama want to deal with you? Why should your daddy want to deal with you? Why should your husband want to deal with you? Your wife want to deal with you? Your son want to deal with you? Your daughter want to deal with you? Your girlfriend, your boyfriend? Why should any of these people want to deal with you when you don't even want to deal with yourself? You don't want to deal with your person, but then you want everybody on the planet to deal with the person you don't want to deal with. Well, that may work well when you're a child. It's totally irresponsible when you're an adult. You have to do the work to work on yourself to become better. The more you do that by being aware of the alerts. Now, when you become better, when you start dealing with yourself, because it's one thing that's common with people that don't work on themselves to get better. For one, they're selfish people. They always wrapped up in themselves, always, right? I don't care if they old, young, tall, short, you know, left-handed, right-handed, whatever, right? Selfish people do not work on themselves. Selfish people do not get better. Selfish people will allow things and titles to be bigger than them. That's what selfish people will do. People that work on themselves will get better. Now, here's another thing with people that don't work on themselves. They have a negative mentality. Oh my God. It's always gonna rain, even if the sun is shining. They won't look at the sun. They'll show you, they'll point to that one cloud over there because they got a negative disposition, a negative mentality because they haven't worked on themselves to become a better person. So now you have this negative person running around there when things can go well. They got $100. They mad because they should have got 101. They got all their bills paid off this month. They mad because they didn't get all their bills paid off when they was 10 years ago. They just because they got a negative disposition. They can always see the dirt on everything. They can always see the negative in everything. They think they're really smart because they see all the negative, but they don't realize what they are because they're not working on getting better. They can never see the better in anything. Now, people that work on themselves, they would see positive things. Now, keep this in mind. Just because something negative happened doesn't mean that you need to be negative or be the negative person because it happened. We all have negative situations that happen to us. It can be something of our own doing, something that somebody else that we connected with doing, could be something. But I mean, if someone die, that's a negative situation, right? So you have to, that's not positive in most cases. You don't want the person to go, right? So that's a negative situation. But we have to deal with things like that. The older you get, you have to deal with things like that. We may lose a job. You have to deal with those things. So you're gonna have negative things happen to you, and just because you have a positive mentality, don't mean that you will erase or never have a negative situation. Your job is never don't make the negative situation turn you into becoming a negative person. And that's what happened to people that don't work on themselves. They allow their negative situations to make them negative people. Again, you can vent about the situation. Man, I don't know why they fired me. I don't know why he left me or she left me. Man, I don't know why, I couldn't get this or whatever it may be. That's okay. That's venting. It's okay. See, in your venting, you should invent something, right? So that's okay that you vent about certain situations. But if you're negative all the time, you negative with everybody. You negative with your parents. You negative with your spouses. You negative with your children. You negative with the neighbors. You negative with coworkers. You negative with people at the grocery store. You just negative all the time. You know what that says? You have not worked on becoming a better person. Now, listen, hear me good now. I know some things are negative that's out of your control in life. There can be pandemics going on. That had nothing to do with you, but that's going on. I mean, we're not saying that stuff is not happening, but when we're saying that people are just negative all the time about everything, they don't work on themselves. When you work on yourself, you start trying to see a better way to get through the pandemic, right? Try to get all your friends through the pandemic. Try to get all your relatives through the pandemic, right? Because you're trying to find a better way to live through a situation. And it can be a divorce. It can your mentality is it connects you with a thing called attitude, right? So your mentality is how you get smarter. People that work on becoming better people are smarter people. It's enough stupid people on the planet. We don't need any more, right? And so that means that all of us need to work on ourselves to prevent another stupid person from occurring. We don't need a 40-year-old stupid person, right? Because stupid people do stupid stuff. They say stupid stuff. That's what they do. They just do stupid stuff, right? Because they haven't worked on themselves to become smarter people. Now I'm not talking about smart like a grade on the test and all. That's wonderful. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about smarter as a person by working on yourself to become a better person. It is not smart not to work on becoming a better person. That is stupid. That's stupid. You with you all day, every day, and you're gonna become stupid. Now I know this may not sound like a word. You're gonna become stupider and stupider and stupider, and you're gonna live 40, 50 years being as dumb as a box of rocks. No, that don't make sense. Because you need to get smarter, but you don't get smarter if you don't get better. If you get better, you'll get smarter. If you get smarter, you'll get better. Those things go hand in hand. And now your attitude will become better. Now the word attitude is also, you search it out, it also means attachment. See, your attitude is attached to your mentality, and also your attitude would attach to things in your life. This is why some things that some people do, everything they do, see, like it just turned to boo boo, right? Because everything they touch, because they got a bad attitude, they got a bad mentality, because they refuse to work on themselves to become better people. When you take the time to work on yourself to become a better person, then you won't have those same situations happening to you that often because you have worked on yourself to become a better person. The moment you stop working on yourself to becoming a better person, you are putting yourself in a position to destroy yourself. And you cannot live a better life destroying the person that you are, because you're going to take your self-destructive person to the lives of other people and become a self-destructive person in those people's lives as well. So now you work on your mentality, right? You work on your attitude. So I know it sounds somewhat cliche, have a positive attitude, have positive mentality, but you need that in this thing called life, because everything in life not positive. But one thing that you do, you can control that, and getting better is actually positive. That's how you work on yourself. So when you think about that, it goes back to something I said in one of the other sessions, that if you are actually working on yourself and you're getting better your attitude, now you're developing the person that you are. You are unwrapping that person, and every day, every week, every month, every year, you're becoming better and things are more positive. You may not hit your millionaire status, you might not win the lottery and all that stuff you've been trying to do, right? That's okay, but you have gotten better. Have you noticed some people, they can go through certain things, they can go through war or something, lose a leg and lose an arm or something like that, and then they come up and they have a better attitude than some people. They got two arms, two good legs, and all that stuff, right? He said, hey, how can that person with no legs have a better attitude than these people with two legs? But see, because it's a better attitude, it's a better mentality. They worked on getting better based on the situation they were in. They still don't have the legs just because they have a positive attitude a positive mentality, but they have a better attitude, even though they don't have the legs, even though they don't have the arm, right? One time I was uh, I was giving some food to some homeless people, and I gave the food to the lady, and she said, "Yeah, every time you bring me food, I share with other people." I said, "That's what's up." She shared with the other people that's homeless in that section where I give them the food, right? I said, "That's good, that's good." And this is what she said. Now keep in mind, she homeless. I don't know how long the lady and the people down there been homeless, right? And then she said, I'm gonna share with all these people because I don't want to stop my blessings. And when I drove off, I said, man, she thinking she's blessed, and she is blessed, right? But she had a better attitude than people that have a big old house. She had a better attitude than people that had a bunch of money in the bank. She had a better attitude than people that got healthy kids or whatever, right? She had, and I don't know the lady's situation and the people down there. I didn't ask things like that when I shared that information with share food with them. But I said, wait a minute. She talking about I'm not gonna miss my blessing. Now she out homeless. All this whole crew homeless, but she gonna make sure she share the food that she get with everybody there. Now I'm emphasizing that because that's an attitude. Even though she's in a terrible situation, she had a better attitude than most people that I run into. And even though she's in a terrible situation, I mean, she's out there homeless and I guess been homeless for a while, right? So this is something that I want to share with you that when you work on becoming better, you start looking at things and you become more optimistic. Your mentality gets better. And this means that, yeah, you can be in a homeless situation because, if someone looked at their situation, they probably wouldn't have looked at it and said, ooh, they're blessed. I want to be like that. I'm sure that, I didn't look at them and say, ooh, I want to be out there with them. I didn't say that. That's not saying anything against them, but I didn't look at it like, hey, living under that train tracks, hey, that's a good place to be. I can't wait to live there. No, but they had a better attitude. But what I did say, I want to take the attitude that she had. I want to take that same attitude with me, even though I'm not in a situation like that. Well, when you start working on becoming better, you will see things like that in life every day. You'll see things like that in life every week. You'll see things like that every day throughout the month, throughout the year, if you're working on becoming better. Now, when you don't work on becoming better, this shows that you have chosen or you have refused to be responsible for you. See, you don't realize you are the CEO of your company. It's called You Incorporated. And see, You Incorporated, like if you ever look at a company and they fired a CEO, might be a 500, one of those top 500 companies, anything like that. And if the company does something bad or not doing well, then they'll fire the CEO because the company lost so many millions of dollars or whatever it may happen to be. Well, when you don't work on yourself, see, here's the thing: you can't fire you from working on yourself because you stuck with you. You got to stay with you all the time. So that's why you have to become a better you. But you must realize that you are the CEO of You Incorporated. You are that person that needs to be responsible for you. No one else on the planet is required or is more responsible in making sure you become a better you than you. If you don't understand that, then you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to think everybody else is more responsible to make you a better person than you yourself. Now, when you do that, you're trying to make mama more responsible, trying to make daddy more responsible, husband more responsible, wife more responsible, boyfriend more responsible, girlfriend more responsible, son, daughter, best friend, people across the street, co-worker. You try to make all these people more responsible to make you a better person. But no one else is more responsible in making you a better person than you. No one can't take the top position to make you a better person than you. And if you sit around waiting on mama to do it, daddy to do it, sister, brother, husband, wife, son, you waiting on all these people to make you more responsible, you are wasting time. Because life is too short to be running around here being worse than you are. But it's long enough to be better than you are. And what happens a lot of times, we always think we have more time. And sometimes things do happen in our life. Some people have a raggedy first 10 years, 15 years, no fault of their own, right? Things happen. They're just in bad situations, right? They have these tough lives. And some people, they have a tough life in their 20s or in their 30s. But what happens is most of us, a lot of us, I should say, we die at 21 and then we walk around here like a zombie for the next 40, 50 years. We don't never work on ourselves. Yeah, that was a bad situation that happened to you in college. Okay. Yeah, they didn't give you, you didn't make the football team like you thought you should have. Yeah, you didn't get the job right when you got out. Oh, yeah, all that stuff happened in your 20s. So Now we're gonna go ahead and put the rest of our life in prison, and we won't become a better person because of the fact that things didn't work out at 22. Because things didn't work out. You didn't get the big house at 25. You couldn't drive your fancy car at 26. So now we just gonna just hijack the rest of our life, the rest of our future, because of the fact that something didn't happen good at 19. But now you're 39, 49, 89, and you never wanted to work on yourself again after that. So you must realize that you must do the work and must be responsible for becoming a better person. Now, why wouldn't a person become responsible for becoming a better person? I'm gonna tell you why. They don't value themselves. Why don't they value themselves? Because they don't think they matter. See, they thought that car mattered more to them. So since they couldn't get the car, why keep living? Why keep trying to get better? I couldn't get that car I wanted. Oh, she didn't want me anymore. So why keep better? Keep trying to get better. She didn't want me. He didn't want me. Okay, maybe he or she did want you. But why do you have to stop trying to get better? Because they didn't want to be with you anymore. That doesn't mean that they bad, and doesn't mean that you bad. But that still doesn't mean that should stop you from becoming better. And you shouldn't become better like I'm gonna get them later. I'm gonna get them what? What? They gonna come back to me. Well, they may not come back to you. So what you gonna do? Stop getting better because they didn't come back in 5 years? You have to still work on yourself. This is why I started this series off and said, in order to become better, it must become a personal thing for you. You must be doing this for yourself, not anybody else, for you. You must, but see, you won't do that if you don't think you're valuable. You won't do that if you don't believe in your self worth. That means that you're going to think all this getting better stuff is worthless. Why do all that? Because, see, it takes work. These are coping skills. Self help skills, they help you cope with yourself better and also help you cope with your life better. If you cope with yourself better, you'll be able to cope with life better, right? Because a lot of things in life you're not going to be able to control. But the one thing you can always control is you. You can control how good you become. You can control how bad you can become too. And if you don't realize it, then you're going to put yourself in a situation that I'm not in good position or I'm not a good person. You're going to start believing stuff like that. Now you're going to do more stuff. You're going to keep running from yourself. Now, this is what insert us into a bunch of bad habits. Now I got to drink more because I'm trying to escape me. I'm trying to run from me. I'm trying to find something to rescue me from my bad self, right? Well, that's what happened when we don't work on becoming better people because you can't outrun. You can't drink enough alcohol. I don't care how bad it gets. You get drunk. That's what when you wake up the next day, it's still you. You still the situation's still there. So that means you have to work on becoming a better person as often as possible. So this leads to something else. You got to have a self-interest, positive self-interest. You have to have an interest in yourself becoming a better self. If you don't have an interest in yourself becoming a better self, then chances are you're probably not going to be invested or you're not going to invest in yourself to become a better self. You can tell how interested you are in becoming better based on how often you invest in you becoming better. You show me people that don't invest in themselves becoming better. I'll show you people that's not interested in themselves or interested in doing the work to become better. Because nobody popped out the womb better. None of us knew anything popping out the womb. Now, I know some of y'all perfect people. You think you knew everything. But we all popped out the womb ignorant. We didn't know what was going on. We had to learn how to do everything that we know how to do today. There's not anything that you know how to do today or learn how to do today that you knew in the womb. You had to learn that at 5 years old, 15 years old, 25. And you always constantly learn. This is why you look at books, finding you a therapist, a coach, finding you a psychiatrist, whatever type of help you need. Because if you need some mental help, and it's funny, if you had a broken arm or you had a bad tooth, and you say, I've been walking around with this bad tooth for about 10 years, somebody will say to you, why don't you go to the dentist? Get that thing fixed, right? And you say, well, I'm just going to keep praying on it, keep figuring out. And so, no, just go to the dentist and get your teeth fixed, right? But, we say that makes sense. Your foot hurt, got a bad foot. Hey, go to, get your feet checked out, see what's going on. Your heart not doing right. Go get that checked out by a doctor. But see, when our mind not doing right, we think it's a problem going to get help. But see, we don't think it's a problem walking around with a raggedy mouth full of teeth and not going to see a dentist. We don't think it's a problem not going to see you got a stomach issue and going to find that out. A woman gets pregnant, she go see a doctor, make sure everything's going. But see, we got these mental issues. We don't want to go seek no help. See, we don't want to go seek a therapist. We don't want to go seek a psychiatrist. We don't want to go seek a coach because you know what? That make mean that people crazy. That makes people think I'm crazy if I go see some help. But nobody will think you crazy when you go to the dentist to get your teeth fixed. Nobody think you crazy when you go and try to find out why you having ulcers. You think that's good, right? And it is good to seek help. Don't ever be ashamed to go seek help for any issue you have. Now, you may be a little embarrassed to go see a psychiatrist. You may be a little embarrassed to go see a therapist. You may be a little embarrassed to go seek a coach. Then get you a book. Look at a program on TV that can help you get better. Look at something, find something on the internet that can help you think more positive and help you deal with some issues. You might have an issue. You might be a man and have an issue with women. But if you won't ever go and try to fix this situation, every woman you come in contact with, you're gonna have problems with. And these women can be your daughters. These women can be your sisters. These are not just your girlfriends you're gonna meet or wives you're gonna meet. But if you never go check that out and get that fixed and go talk to somebody about that, you can't walk around holding all your negative stuff in and think you're gonna be a better person. You got to find you some help. You got to seek you out some help. If you got to go to get you a book and you got to read the book 10 times once a year for the next 10 years to help you become a better person, do what you have to do to become a better person. Because if you don't, shame on you. If you don't, then that shame on your person is going to actually make you feel worse. Then you're going to make some bad decisions that if you would just actually worked on yourself, you could have made a better decision. It's almost like driving your car in the rain. One good thing about windshield wipers, I don't care how hard it's raining, it clean your windows off so you can keep driving. When you got some issues going on in your life, you need to keep getting you help so you can knock this stuff out your way so you can see life better, so you can make better decisions, so you can see when somebody is not good for you or people that's not good for you, you can see that clearer because you're knocking this stuff off the window. But if you try to drive a car in the rain and it's raining, you're gonna run into something. You're gonna hit something. You're gonna be in an accident. Not because you're a bad person, because you couldn't see. You couldn't see clearly because you didn't have any help to knock this stuff off the windows. Well, that's the same thing in life. If you having issues and you don't want to try to rectify these issues, you got a different boyfriend every week, and you've been doing this stuff for 4 or 5 years, something wrong with that. You got a different girlfriend, you got 5, 10, 15 girlfriends, and four of them got 2 babies apiece. Something is wrong with that. There's some issues you need to resolve within yourself that you need to get in order. But if you don't go out and try to be a better person, if you don't go out there and try to work on yourself and face yourself and deal with your issue, then who else is responsible to deal with your issue? Yeah, maybe something bad happened to you when you were young, right? Everybody don't know that happened to you at 15 years old. Everybody don't know you were bullied at 12 when you meet them at 35. They don't know what happened to you at 21. They don't know. They met you at 32. They met you at 47. They don't know the things that happened to you. So how are they going to be responsible to make you better? They don't even know what happened. But guess who does know what happened? You do. So you have a responsibility for yourself if you think you're valuable as a person, if you think you're worthy as a person. That's why it's called self-worth. If you think you worth something to you, then you will work on you becoming a better you. If you not, again, like I stated in the previous sessions, everybody else won't think you that great. That's okay. You may not matter to everybody else. That's okay. You may not be important to everybody else. That's okay. But it's never okay for you not to be important to you. It's never okay for you not to matter to you. It's never okay for you not to be priceless to you. You must be priceless to you today. You must be priceless to you on the weekdays. You must think that you valuable on the weekends. You must have to think you valuable and you matter in the morning. You must think that you valuable and worth something in the evening. This has to be a lifestyle for you. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in situations with people that will do to you what you're doing to you. When you start abusing yourself, you invite other people in to abuse you too. And they may not abuse you the same way you abuse you. See, if you're talking to yourself negative, I ain't no good. I'll never be any good. I always been messed up like this. Well, don't get mad when the other people come in and say, you know what? You no good. You always been messed up. You'll never be nothing. Don't get mad when people repeat to you what you repeat to yourself. And this is why you have to get better so that you can identify when some of these people come into your life and start saying you have been no good. And you say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I think I told myself today, I matter. I think I told myself today, I'm priceless. I think I told myself today, I'm better. And if they saying something that you're not saying, then why we in relationship? Why we friends? Why we rolling out here throughout the streets with these type of people when I'm not saying the same thing you saying about me? So this is why we need to become better. This is why we need to work on ourselves as often as possible. For the very reason is that you have to face yourself. If you don't face yourself, you're gonna wreck yourself. And if you don't face yourself, you're lying to yourself. You're going to always be looking dead at a lie when you turn your back on yourself. Yeah, some people in life will abandon you. But what's worse is when you abandon yourself. And every time you abandon yourself by not facing the situations and dealing with yourself, what happens is you abandon yourself. Again, you can't make people stay with you. You can't make people stay even if they love you. Some people got to leave the planet before you want them to, right? They die and they go on, right? So everybody can't stay here with you. And then the people that's still alive, they may not want to be with you. They might have thought they might have liked you last month. They might have liked you 2 years ago, but they might have changed their mind about you, right? But you can't change your mind about you when you're working on becoming better. And guess what? They have the right to change their mind and say they want to move on, right? They don't want to be with you. But you must realize that you can't leave you. They can leave you, but you can't leave you. So you must focus on being positive, working on your attitude, realizing that there's some alerts going on, realizing that you must learn more. You must learn more. There's a lot of people on the planet that can help you become better. But this is what I realized the older I become, that people are not going to bull rush you. They're not going to bogart you. They're not going to break down your door to help you become better. If you don't want to become better, trust me, the older you get, people are not going to chase you down to become better. Now, that stuff work when you're 18, 19, 20. Come on, Junior. Come on, Junior. Come on, get better, Junior. Come on, Junior. Stop acting up, Junior. Come on, Junior. You can get better, Junior. That works pretty good at 19 and 20. It might work pretty good up to about 25. Might even go to about 30. Come on, Junior. Please get better, Junior. Junior, please. Junior, come on, Junior. Do something with your life, Junior. Please, please. But when you get 35, 40 years old, 45, 50, people don't run up to your door. Come on, Junior. Please, Junior. Come on, Junior. You 50 years old. Junior, come on, Junior. Junior, why you keep going back and forth to jail, Junior? Come on, Junior. Come on, Junior. No, 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 no. People don't bum rush you to get better, right? But that means that you have to take on the responsibility. You are the CEO of You Incorporated. You have a bank called You Bank, YOU Bank. You have to put investments in that bank, and you can't do that unless you have a positive self-interest. You have to have an interest in yourself becoming a better self. Then you will make investments in yourself to become a better self. We'll make investments on stuff on the outside. Boy, we buy some of the nicest clothes in the world. We get some of the nicest cars in the world. Man, we get some of the nicest houses in the world. And we'll put some big investment. We work 4 jobs to get that house. But we won't put any of that money into buying a book. We won't put any of that money to pay for a therapist. We won't use any of that money to find us some help. But we had the fanciest car on the block. Ooh, look at the shoe. Look at the perk. Look at the, what do you see my hair? We spend tons of money on our outside and spend no money on the inside. And we, even though we got the fancy clothes, we're crying all night because we can't deal with ourselves. Crying, drinking all we can, seeing how drunk we can get. But we got that. Guess what? We got some fancy shoes though. But we won't take the same time to invest in ourselves. We won't take the same money to invest in ourselves to get the help we need to become a better person than we are. And this has to be a practice because here's the thing. When you're young and you're 19, 20, you might not have children. When you're 40, you might have children. And your children are watching your behavior. And see, they're going to pick up the same tools you picking up. And if the only tool you pick up is a fifth of alcohol, don't get mad when Junior pick up a fifth of alcohol when he gets 21. Don't get mad if you got to get a new boyfriend every week. And see, don't get mad when Junior got to get her new boyfriend every week when she gets 21. Don't get mad when they duplicate the behavior because they just picking up the same tools you have. You have to become better for yourself. And when you become better for yourself, you impact everyone around you, your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, your parents, your children, your best friends, your cousins, co-worker, when you become better. And the opposite of that is true as well. When you become worse, you impact them too in the same way. So I got a few minutes here. Let me what I got about 5, 4. Okay, let me promote this guy here. Again, if you want to get promoted on the show, you can get in touch with me at fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com. And then we will definitely pass on my phone number to you, and then we can actually talk about a little bit more on the possibility of promoting you on some future shows. So I'm promoting Mr. Emmett Farmer today. And are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent insurance broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or at efarmer, the numeric number 2, at ameritech.net. Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is, excuse me, he's licensed in the state of Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in many other states as well. If you are 65 and older, or if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about the options you have available to help you in that situation. For more information, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer at 773-908-9425. Again, that's 773-908-9425. Or email him at efarmer2, that's EFARMER, the numeric number 2, so efarmer2 at ameritech.net. You will also get a free consultation by mentioning that you heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer here on A Greater You Show with the host, Dr. Anthony Gant, here on IntellectualRadio.com. If you came in late after I started, please hit the subscribe button here on IntellectualRadio.com. We are iHeart Station, and we are anywhere you get your podcast. You can also hear us. We got shows Sunday through Saturday. Great shows in the morning, afternoons, and evenings. Great hosts, great guests. So please tune in, hit the subscribe button, also hit the bell so you can be notified about future all the shows when they are on or before they come on. So just to close out and wrap it up, again, work on yourself, face yourself. If you face yourself, you won't lie to yourself. You also become a better person by having a positive attitude and working on yourself and being responsible for you becoming a better self. Because keep in mind, we never had a you before you got here. We never got another you since you've been here, and we'll never have another you when you leave from here. That shows you that you matter, you take up space, you are important, regardless of what you don't have or do have, because you are here. You are an important person and needed on the planet. So to close out, keep in mind, great people are born great like yourself. However, you must do the work on yourself to become a greater you. And I'll see you next time.